my darlings, and welcome to this reading vlog. So for this reading vlog, I will be reading books that were nominated for the Nebula Awards because I'm going to have some time on my hands. So I thought, why not? Let's do some of the other awards as well. Let's do all the awards. So the Nebula Awards recognize sci-fi and fantasy pieces. And I say pieces because they actually give awards for quite a few different mediums. It's not just regular old books. I will be reading the books in the category for Best Novel and for Best Novella. But the Nebula also has categories for Best Novelette, for Best Short Story. I'm not sure what the categorical difference is between those two. It's also got an award for the Best Middle Grade and YA Fiction, the Best Game Writing, so sorry for shaking the camera there, actual video games. They also have a Ray Bradbury Nebula Award for Most Outstanding Dramatic Presentation, so that is film and television, and awards for Best Comics and Best Poems. I'm not sure if that's singular poem or if it's the whole book. I have a feeling it's a singular poem. So I am basing it just on the novel and novellas because I know that's what my library will have. That's easy for me to source. So we're going to go through the books, and I'm actually going to tell you what they're about. I realized in my other prize vlog, I did not read out the book synopses to you. I was just like, I'm not reading this, but then I was reading this. So I'll read out the blurbs so you know what the book's about in case it's something that you want to grab. So in the novel category, we have When We Were Real by Daryl Gregory. It says, this is a madcap adventure following two friends on a cross-country bus tour through the mind-boggling glitches in their simulated world as they grapple with love, family secrets, and the very nature of reality in a simulation. Sounds interesting. It sounds YA to me, but I would assume it would be in the YA section if it was, but I will be reading that. My library has it. The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. So this is a historical novel set in the nascent days of the state of Montana, following a Blackfeet Indian named Goodstab as he haunts the fields of the Blackfeet Nation looking for justice. So I believe Goodstab gets turned into a vampire and seeks vengeance. 1 second, I've got a cork. Okay, 1 hour later. Thanks, Mom. It's fine. I'm back. So I was talking about the Buffalo Hunter. So I did attempt this and I DNF'd it. The writing style wasn't for me. So this one wasn't for me, but a lot of people do love it. I think it was nominated, or did it win? The Horror on Goodreads. I can't remember, but very popular book. Then we have Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. And this was sort of like a Dante's Inferno situation, but make it dark academia. So you have two students who have to put aside their rivalry to rescue their professor from hell. But like I said, dark academia style, so lots of nerdy shit. I really like this. I gave this a 4.5. This was a divisive book. I think a lot of people did not like it. For me, it was a fun time. I wish they had gone even more hardcore with hell, but that was a good read. So that so far is topping my list for the nominated novels for this award. And then we have Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. So we have Zulu, who's dropped out from her university job and her latest novel has been rejected. All in the middle of her sister's wedding, her life is upended. She's disabled, unemployed, and from a very judgmental, high-achieving family. And then one night, she decides to write a book very unlike her others. Yeah, this could be good. Sometimes books about books just don't work for me, but sometimes they do. So optimistic about that one. And then we have The Incandescent by Emily Tesh. So we have Dr. Walden, Director of Magic at Chetwood Academy and a powerful magician. Her days consist of teaching other students, and she is great at her job, but demons are masters of manipulation, and it's her responsibility to keep her school safe. I tried this one. I was hopeful. But I think Emily Tesh just isn't the author for me. I have also not liked previous books of theirs, so I did DNF The Incandescent. And then there's Sour Cherry by Natalia Theodoridou, and this was a retelling of Bluebeard's Wives, and I gave this a 2 stars. I love the cover. I just don't feel like this added much to the tale of Bluebeard's Wives, so yeah, this was a 2-star read for me. And then we have Wearing the Lion by John Wiswell. This is, I think, a retake on Hercules' story. Yeah, so it's about Hercules and his wife Megara, So we all know, if you watch my channel, I love Greek mythology, love it, studied at university. I do not like a lot of Greek mythology retellings in literature. Just for some reason, struggle to find amazing ones. I didn't mind Galatea, which was a little itty bitty one. That was probably, I think, one of my highest rated Greek mythology retellings I've tried thus far. I'm always hopeful because I love the original source material. So Hercules, Hercules, let's hope that's a good one. And now we're on to the novellas. So this is the novella list. We've got Disgraced Return of the Cap's Needle by Renan Bernardo. 20 years ago, the generation ship Cap's Needle left Earth to start a new settlement on what was believed to be a life-sustaining planet. The ship reached its destination without incident, but failed in its stated mission to settle the alien world. 2 years into an emergency trip back to Earth, the crew is struggling to keep it together. Look, this sounds cool. Unfortunately, none of my libraries have this, and there's no point requesting it because at this late stage in the game, they won't get it in time. They will not get it in time. So I will not be reading this one, unfortunately. Then we have The River Has Roots by Amal Al-Matar, and this is about two sometimes reading things is hard. Two sisters who cannot be separated even in death. They sing. There's like fae involved. I read this, but I heard the audiobook is fantastic because they do the music and the singing in that. But I read it. I gave it a 3.5. It's very, Amal's writing is very purple prose and wishy-washy whimsy and lyrical. And yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Then we had The Death of Mountains by Jordan Kurella. When the death of mountains came for us, we had been aching for a long time. There is so much loss in being a mountain. It is a terribly long time to live. Yet something awoke within us when they arrived, their face a stone skull, their hands obsidian bones that cracked and crackled like fracking. It made us hurt to hear their earthquakes step across the ground as they arrived. Their breath was like coal dust, the stuff their cloak was made from. They left a trail of oil behind them as they walked. When they spoke, their breath was hot, volcanic. It made us wither at first. We, however, are a middling hild of the Appalachians. We have seen much worse, far worse than death. That sounds really fucking cool. Is that from the view of a mountain? I love that shit. I do. I love when the main character isn't human and it's not just some other human-like creature. One of my favorite books is Open Throat, which is from the POV of a queer mountain lion in Los Angeles, LA. So I am really stoked for this one. High hopes for that. Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. This is a cozy novella about a crew of abandoned food service bots opening their very own restaurant. So yeah, this was set in the future with bots that wanted to cook. There was a war, they were rebuilding from it. Human beings think less than of robots taking human jobs. I DNF this. There was something about, look, in the age we're in with AI starting to take human jobs, I can tell that this was meant to symbolize immigrants. So people getting upset that immigrants are taking their jobs. I didn't feel that though. I was like, but they're bots, they're robots, they're AI. That's not other human beings. It's tech. And in my case, I am pro humans being able to work over tech taking their jobs. Yes to tech making things easier, no to tech literally making humans redundant. So I DNF'd it. It just wasn't working for me either. I wasn't into it. And then the last one is But Not Too Bold by Hache Pueyo. That's probably not how you say it. It says, the old keeper of the keys is dead, and the creature who ate her is a volatile lady of the capricious house. Anathema, an enormous humanoid spider with a taste for laudanum and human brides. Fuck me. I was going to say, isn't this horror? I feel like this is a horror book. So I'm surprised it made the list. I heard about it, but as soon as I read that, spider was the main, I live in Australia. I have to fuck with spiders on a daily basis, so I tend to not want to read about them as well. Oh my God. So look, I'm going to give it a go. My library has it. So there was another one too, and I haven't put it on here. Let me quickly go find it. I forgot to look it up, but unfortunately my library does not have this book. So this is also one I will not be reading, but let me tell you what it is. Okay, for some reason it's not coming up. Let me look up the author, Wole Talabi. is the author. It's called Descent by Wale Talabi, but for some reason it is not coming up when I searched the title on Goodreads. Does it have another title? Descent by Wale Talabi. Clark's World. Okay, yeah, it doesn't have a Goodreads thing. So it just says that it follows a young explorer mapping unexplored regions of an unforgiving planet to prove his mother wrong. It explores African epistemology and parental expectations. So yes, my library doesn't have that one either, so I will not be reading it. I will also be doing other prizes as well. So I'm going to be doing, let me tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing the Hugo Awards, which is sci-fi and fantasy, the Shirley Jackson Awards, which is horror. I might also do the Franklin Literary and the Pulitzer Prize and the Booker. They're further in the future, but I did want to do genre fiction prize list. So I'm starting with this one. I wonder if there'll be some double ups with the Hugo and the Nebula, but I already have some on ebook. I'm waiting for some physical books to come in. So what do I want to start with? To be honest, I feel like I want to bust out the novellas first. So I might do those first because I would like to get this up before the prize winner is announced. Once the winners are announced, I'm going to do a short to capture my opinion on who won. But yeah, this is just going to be one vlog with all the books that I have left to read. So there's 5 books that I will be reading because 2 of them I was not able to get, and the other ones I've already read or tried. And like I said, I will DNF if I'm not enjoying the book, but hopefully out of 5 books, I will definitely finish one and give you one fully rounded review. But I think I might start with, but not too bold. I kind of just want to get the spider stuff out of the way. And then I'll go on to The Death of Mountains, which is my most highly anticipated. And then I'll go on to the novels, but pray for me. Okay, I'm already back. Apologies if I'm shaking. It is cold. March is my favorite month in Melbourne in terms of weather because you get all 4 seasons. You'll get summer, spring, autumn, and winter in March. But today's a winter day in March. I don't like those as much, but it's okay because tomorrow it's going to be autumnal, and then on Saturday it's spring, and on Sunday we're getting summer weather. So I know I'll be getting the hotness at the end of the week, but right now I'm cold. But yes, highly recommend March as a time of the year in Australia. I finished But Not Too Bold by Hache Pueyo. I couldn't find an audiobook, so I'm just guessing. This was a queer gothic fantasy, and it is about a dutiful apprentice who becomes a caretaker to this seductive, memory-hoarding spider eldritch being, and she tries very hard not to become its next meal. So we have Dahlia. Sorry, I'm petting a kitty. You want to say hello? Oh, it's Sylvie. Hey, Sylvie, say hi. Dahlia lands a promotion that nobody else wants, and that is to be the keeper of the keys, which is pretty much a personal assistant to Anathema. And Anathema is a massive spider woman who snacks on brides like they're charcuterie. But Dahlia's job is to organize Anathema's drawers full of memories and to not get eaten, but also in a way to keep her company. The reason that she got her job is because the former keeper of the keys was accused of theft by Anathema and then eaten by Anathema, death by consumption. So Dahlia is now trying to figure out who stole from Anathema and why. The main themes in this were of a desire versus self-preservation, power imbalance and control, memory as identity, consumption, and curiosity. Be bold, but not too bold. I ended up giving this a 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed it, despite the fact that it is fucking loaded with spiders. Not only are we told in incredible detail about Anathema's physiology, but everybody in the house keeps tarantulas as pets, whilst also eating tarantulas. Dahlia's favorite food is deep fried tarantula. What the fuck? What do you mean? That would be like me having my pet cats and then also snacking on cats. deep fried, stewed, marzipan spiders, anybody? That was really weird. I didn't understand that. I'm like, how do you work for a spider creature and then you have pet spiders and then you also eat spiders? If I was a spider, I'd be confused. I'd be like, do I fear for my life? Am I going to be adored? Am I going to be revered? Am I just going to be eaten? What's going on here? So yeah, if you don't like spiders, this book is not for you. Okay, it's just Spider Central. It absolutely was giving Bluebeard's Wives to me, because Anathema collects brides and then eats them when they all end up being scared by her appearance. She feels very betrayed when they show fear and horror at her visage, and so she then eats them. She also has a little collection. She keeps these miniatures of her brides and her employees, and whenever she kills someone, she makes a miniature of them to keep their memories. But yeah, she was giving Bluebeard. And not only that, on one of the keys, upon Matilda's death, so Matilda was the original keeper of the keys before Dahlia got her position and was promoted, one of Matilda's keys is covered in blood, a blood that won't come off, which, you know, with Bluebeard's Wives, that's one of the main components of the story. It's the keys to Bluebeard's secret room, and once a wife unlocks it to discover, oh, look at all these dead women, the key bleeds and won't be cleaned, thus alerting Bluebeard that he's been betrayed by another one of his wives. So I'm surprised nowhere was it mentioned, because they do mention other books as comparisons, and I'll mention them in the similar to this, but not Bluebeard. So that was the main one for me. But it was very fast-paced. It definitely lent into its strangeness. It's queer. Anathema is female presenting and likes wives, pretty girls. Dahlia seems to be bi. And this is just an odd book. It's an odd book, and people aren't really behaving as you would expect people to behave in this circumstance. So Anathema is an archaic creature, and there were quite a few of them. These eldritch beings that were all different. One guy was basically a trench coat full of snakes instead of rats, but he's dead now, so they've been dying off. Yeah, it's very short, it's brief, so don't expect much in terms of like world building and explanation of things, but I enjoyed it. What do you really want? She tried to come up with an answer to no avail. Maybe she did not want anything at all. She had never learned how to want. She had simply existed until then. Her life was just a series of routines. At best, she could imagine what she did not want. Dying, losing her job, starving, suffering. She did not want inconveniences. She did not want changes. She did not want. Vibe check. Spiders everywhere, man. Opium dens, doll houses. That reminds me, yes, opium features very heavily in this. Anathema's employees score the poppies and collect that milky sap and partake in it as well. So I was like, okay, it's a spider and drug fest, pretty much. I think people that would like this are fans of weird girl horror and monstrous romance. It's definitely a horror book. And spider lovers, bruh. If you love spiders, this is for you. Similar books. So for me, I would say Bluebeard's Wives. But this book in its synopsis was compared to Mexican Gothic and The Shape of Water. For me, it was also reminding me of something like the Grand Budapest Hotel in regards to how Capricious House was run by its people. But good start, great start to be honest. Luckily this was an ebook. I'm trying to favor the ebooks because I've got carpal tunnel right now. At first when the pain started, I was like, she'll be right, mate. She was not right, mate. It's carpal tunnel. So the doctors just told me obviously to rest it and try not to do much computer work. That is my job. Even though I'm not trading at the moment, I was obviously editing all these vlogs because I thought, if I can't trade and work, let me read and vlog. But that is also very computer heavy. Even holding the books, it depends on how my wrist is. So obviously it's better if my wrist remains straight and not bent. It sucks that too. In my sleep, I am a like this person. I go and bend my wrist. They told me to sleep with a splint to keep it straight, so I might do that. But yeah, the e-readers, so good. one, they're lightweight, but two, in bed, I just, with its case, can just prop it up next to me. And that way I only have to go tap when I want to turn a page. And so that is helping me a lot. Hopefully I heal this quickly, because when I got tendinitis from crocheting, that took me 6 months. But that was really bad. I got into this pretty quickly. It started hurting, and then when it didn't go away after a week, went to the doctor, and then after that I've been trying not to go on the computer as much as possible, or at max 1 hour a day, to edit as much as I can and then rest it, because I don't want it to get worse. I want it to just go away. I just get very injured easily with the arm stuff. I don't know if it's because of the airless down loss, but it is what it is. It just sucks that my hobbies cause me injury. I'll sit there and bicep curl and whatever, that's fine. But, you know, tippity tap or crochet, and my body's like, we don't like it. Next, what am I going on to next? I have also an ebook, thank goodness. I have The Death of Mountains. Wait, do I? Yes, I do. Do I? I'm gonna have to check that. I've forgotten what I went and reserved and what I don't have, but I'll go and check that in a second. If I don't have that, then that means I'm done for the novellas, because that is the last novella I have to read that I haven't read and that my library has, hopefully. But yeah, you're watching me in real time at the moment. Most of my vlogs were filmed months in advance. These prize awards ones are being done in real time because they're announced now in March. I got a little friend for my next read. Love you, Sylvie. Sit down, Sylvie. You gonna sit on my lap? Yeah. Good girl. I love you. Lie down. Lie down. I'm gonna go front ways today. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. I love you. I love you. I gotta cut those nails. They're hurting. They're long. Good girl. So cute. Pretty eyes. Love you. I'm back. I did finish the book. I also had to have a mini nap. When I'm having a flare-up, I just can't get through the day without a micro nap. I had to wake myself up because it's almost school pickup, but I did finish The Death of Mountains by Jordan Kurella. This is a speculative sci-fi litfic, and it is about an ancient Appalachian mountain that is narrating its encounter with the personified death of mountains, reflecting on deep time, environmental destruction, and the slow violence of human industry. We are in the POVs of mountains and of different types of death. So with anything that is considered to have a soul, there is a death for that. So we have the death of mountains as a character, but also the death of people makes an appearance, and they have different personalities. So we have an Appalachian mountain that is due to die thanks to human machinery and greed, but the mountain is trying to bargain with death to stay its execution. This is definitely filled with a lot of allegory pertaining to environmental collapse, extraction, and industrial violence. The themes in this are of time, environmental destruction and extraction, grief, endurance, and memory, anthropomorphism of nature, and survival. I enjoyed this. I'm giving it a 3.75. I absolutely love being in the POVs of different beings. So in this case, the mountains and the different types of death. I particularly enjoyed the death of people's perspective. They were very interesting. This was told in story form. So each character would say, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. And they went back and forth in this way of, like I said, what was its name? I think it's the Plundered Mountain. That was the name of the Appalachian mountain. Was trying to extend its lifespan, and they were negotiating with death. Is there anything they could do? Because its death was coming about because of human beings drilling and boring and excavating into her to extract coal and oil and what have you, and create freeways. But then the death of people was getting involved, and they're like, are humans to blame? or are the machines that they use to destroy the earth to blame? So it was interesting. It was a very quiet novel, so it was slow paced. But yeah, I think I'm going to settle with a 3.75. It might also be because I was very tired going into this one. I was having a chronic exhaustion episode, so that was probably not the best timing, but I didn't see it happening. It literally hit me in the last 10 minutes of reading the book, so I was good until then. But I'm going with a 3.75. Vibe check. Appalachian Ridge at dawn. Coal and oil machines. Grim reapers. A lone figure dwarfed by a massive mountain. I think you would like this if you are a fan of nature as narrator stories, or if you just like introspective, slightly surreal works over plot-heavy stories. Similar books or films, This Is How You Lose the Time War, The Overstory, maybe Princess Mononoke. I need to watch that again. It's been a very long time since I've watched that. I do remember it being about nature versus industry perhaps, but I'm going to give that another watch. Maybe that'll be the next movie I watch. So I have now finished with all of the novellas. So obviously there was 2 that I could not read because my library didn't have them, and those were The Disgraced Return of the Cap's Needle by Renan Bernardo and Descent by Wole Talabi. So unfortunately could not read those to rate them. Out of what I have read, I DNF'd Automatic Noodle, so that's out of the running for me. The River Has Roots, I gave a 3.5, so that came in third. Second was The Death of Mountains by Jordan Kurella with a 3.75. And my favorite read out of the novellas nominated was But Not Too Bold by Hache Pueyo, which I gave a 4. Unexpected. The spider book reigned supreme. I am now going on to, what do I have next? So I do have the ebook for Death of the Author and Wearing the Lion. So those will be the next 2. And then I'll be getting the physical book of When We Were Real. So those will be the last 3 for this Nebula nominees reading vlog. Okay, I am back all ready to finish off this vlog. Quite surprisingly. So I went on to Wearing the Lion by John Wiswell. So this is a Greek myth retelling, a fantasy book. And it is about the tragically kind Hercules who tries to solve his own divine tragedy while unknowingly being sabotaged by the very goddess he's named after, Hera. My God, I hated the way this was written and the humor. Let's just start with the first line of this book so you can get an example of why this wasn't for me. So the first line is, "Good news, heaven," announces my dipshit husband. "I've made a new king of the mortals." Hera constantly refers to her husband as a dipshit. Dipshit, 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 dipshit. Can we find another fucking term to call him? My God. I don't ever want to hear that word again in my life. And then we've got, "I wonder if I can beat a god to death with his own dick." Reading this book feels like being beaten to death by a god with their dick. I did not like this. You get other phrases like, "You're a fucking child and I hate you." It read to me like it was written by a middle grader who thinks they're edgy because they use curse words. And then you'd have Hercules' chapters like, he was writing in his fucking diary, "Dear Auntie Hera, are you well? I hope you're swell. I'm having the best time. Thank you so much for being my best auntie and for helping me. I'm with my best friend and my twin and we are doing things together. And thank you so much for the pet snakes that you put into my crib. I had a great time tying them together." It was just like, what the fuck is this? It's very much niche, like as in either you really vibe with the style or you don't, and I did not. So I think I noped out after 40 pages. It was around that area. I kept thinking it won't be written like this all the way through. It was written like that all the way through. So I was like, I can't do it. Props to being a completely different take on Greek mythology that I've read thus far. Sorry, I'm looking at ants on my windowsill for some reason. They love to bring in dead ant bodies and throw them off the ledge. One sec. Okay, where was I? On to the next book. So it was on to the next book. Let's go on to the next one. And that was Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. So in this book, after hitting rock bottom, a struggling writer creates this wildly different sci-fi story that catapults her into fame while blurring the boundary between the world she wrote and the one she lives in. Once again, I did not like how this was written. Let me give you an example. What did you do to him? I asked my sister. She only shrugged. The incident seemed to have sobered her up. Fucked him. Was a student from one of my classes a few semesters ago. Lawyer, trying to be a writer. I just got tired of him by the next morning. And you told him so? Yeah, she said. It's funny. Guys like that are so entitled, but even more so when you can't walk. They think you should be so grateful. She giggled again, even harder. It was just giving me the ick. It was just giving me the ick. This read like a YA book. The Hercules one also read like a YA book. And I just could not get on board with it. I was like, I didn't like the characters either in this one. I did not like her family. I didn't even like her. So another one bites the dust. And then we were on to the last option in the novel category, and that was When We Were Real by Daryl Gregory. So this is about a dying man and his lifelong friend who embark on a bizarre cross-country bus tour journey through a glitched, simulated world, confronting love, mortality, and what it means to be real along the way. So this book is centered after this mass event called The Announcement, which revealed the world to be merely a digital simulacrum. Is that how you pronounce that? I'm not sure. I've actually never said it out loud. Basically, in this world, they find out that they're living in The Sims. And these greater beings are playing The Sims with us. Yeah, the world's different. This starts off, you're on the bus, and you are introduced to the 17 characters that are in this book. So who are they? Let me tell you. You have the driver, the tour guide, the engineer, the comic book writer, the nurse, the proud grandmother, the honeymooners, the realist son, the realist, the novice, the sister, the rabbi, the influencer, the professor, the reader, the octos. It's probably 18 because I just realized the honeymooners are 2 people. 18 motherfucking characters. Guys. It's too much. It's too much for me. The way this was also written, heavy on the humor, and it felt YA also. I gave this one a good shot though. I love the idea of it. Like, what if this world was a simulation and we're all just zeros and ones and we're actually basically the Sims game? Do we have any personal agency, or is someone playing us as their fucking avatar character that they created? And if so, whoever's playing me, fucking hit that motherload ka-ching, bitch, okay? Let's cheat mode this bitch. But I just didn't want to read anymore. I didn't care. When there's 18 characters, it's hard to care about anybody. And the way that we were just breezing through, like going from one to one, it felt like a speed dating match. So hello, Sylvie. I didn't like it. And I can't believe I'm finishing this. But like I said, time is short. There's so many books I want to read, not enough time to read them. I'm not going to push through with the book that will be lucky to hit a 3 stars for me, just because it's not my taste. Very interesting. What are my thoughts about the Nebula Prize Awards? First of all, obviously, my pick would be Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. That was a 4.5 star read to me. Out of the novel options, that is by far the best. I DNF'd almost all of them, except Sour Cherry, which I gave 2 stars. If I wasn't going with Catabasis, I would go with The Buffalo Hunter, even though that author's writing style wasn't for me. I know that is a beloved book, and a lot of people do like it, and it's quality. The style of the writing in some of these books was, like I said, for adult category. I understand, yeah, throw some humor ones in there, but some of them just felt very juvenile. And then we had the novella category, which obviously, I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, my pick was the Spider book, but It's Not Too Bold by Hache Pueyo. That's going to bug me that I don't know how to pronounce that. Followed by The Death of Mountains, which I thought was also good. The other ones, River Has Roots was a 3.5 for me, so that was still great. Automatic Noodle, I did DNF, just wasn't my jam. And the other two I could not get at my library, so I don't know if they're bangers or not. Unfortunately, I would have liked to at least try them. I will say I'm not hyper impressed by the selection. It's very confusing. It's an odd mix. So there is variety for sure of different styles, which I think is fantastic. Put a lot of different mixes in there. But yeah, it was the novels that was the one that was like, doesn't feel adult to me. I feel like there were much better sci-fi fantasy options. But I'm interested now to see how the Hugo compares to the Nebula choices, because that is also a sci-fi fantasy book award prize. So that is going to be coming up next. I think they're announcing their nominees in about 2 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm still glad I read this. I did find some great reads, but not too bold, and The Death of Mountains. Unfortunately, none of the other ones hit for me, but that is everything for this reading vlog. Let me know which of these books interests you the most, or you enjoyed the most if you read them. If you don't know what to comment, leave a star emoji, and until next time, stay wild, Star Child.